Okay, so who would like to begin?
Okay,
Sharon.
We had the privilege of having Keisha in our group. And it was so wonderful because she talked to us about her 7-year journey. And I wouldn't want to tell you all about it because it's so wonderful. In fact, at the end of her story of how God took her from 7 years ago, a time in Barbados for a short time, to now 7 years later, to being there, we all took this away from it. Says everybody has a Barbados. And it was so wonderful. And all of that, we went to verse 18, Patrick, so we weren't totally off. Verse 18 says wonderfully, to stumble over this stone is to be shattered into pieces, since the stone is destined to crush to powder every contradiction to its authentic identity. Hooray. Our group was fantastic. That's all I have to say.
And actually, Keisha actually came up in our group too, because she's been 4 years ago, she probably started. And I can remember talking and talking and talking to her on the phone, just coming out of religion, and to where she is now. We have watched God transform her and her family. We're so proud of her. She's now in Barbados as a full-fledged professor of chemistry. So we are so proud of her. And who would like to go next? Either raise your hand or just like Sharon did, go like this. Don't be shy.
Wow.
Everybody's quiet. We can't. Deanna.
Go for it.
Go for it.
I don't know what I'm going to say. But since nobody's raising their hand, I might as well raise mine. Now, the one verse that I didn't get to comment on was 21 that I really, really liked. And it was like the infiltrators, then asked him, the infiltrators, like the inroaders, the people that are trying to, undermine and trying to infiltrate, all that Jesus was doing. And Rabbi, we perceive you're a straightforward teacher. And I just love that. This is a very straightforward message. And if you keep reading the mirror, you're just going to see this message just, repeated over and over, and this thread that runs through, and straightforward message and no hidden agenda. Like Francois just takes out all the stops, and, he keeps bringing us back to the source all the time and just reminding us. And you'll even see the same, some of the same things repeated all the way through. When I first started reading it, I was like, didn't I just read that? And then it was like, didn't I just read that? But it's just so good because it just gets inside of us. No hidden agenda, teaching God's way accurately, and not judging one person to be more important than another. I mean, what could we want more than that? And so I wrote next to that how I'd like to be known as a teacher. And I just love that verse. It really encouraged me so much.
Excellent. Timothy.
I just wanted to make a comment on the verse that says that stone crushes every contradiction to my or your authentic identity. I was in religion. I spoke religiously in prophetic words. You do this and God does this for you. That's law. God, through the Spirit of God, had to break it out of me to where now I only want to speak the goodness of God in his love for everyone, based in the amazing love that we all have, are in, and only want to speak of the goodness of Jesus within everyone, to if you will, encourage the sons of God to be revealed as image bearers of the good news of Jesus Christ for everyone on this earth. The law of performance and religion can keep a person circling the drain until you're too tired to care. That is a part, I believe, of the stone being released within a person's life, as it has mine, and crushing to dust that religious nature, that religion, prophetic words of you do this and God does this. No, he did it all so that you and I can bask in his love, effortlessly living in his love and grace. Image bearers, we're all sons of God. And the earth, my dear brothers and sisters, you're all brothers anyway, it is groaning. All creation is groaning. How do you manifest this? Just speak. Just speak. Just love. Just be. Amen. Wow.
Thank you, Tim. Adrian?
Oh yeah, I didn't. I only came near the end. I just listened to some of the things they were saying now, and I'm just basically elaborating on those things. So I'm sort of reacting to the comments. But like I was just thinking recently, there was somebody that I was just thinking about how often there's so many things happening in churches and stuff. Like you're busy talking to people, and you go there, and there's so many things happening, and it's so much. There's a lot of ego and a lot of fighting and a lot of people trying to, and how the real gospel is so different. It's just it's just like Tim was saying, there's just no fighting. There's just love. It's all about him. It's not focused on a man, like one person, or it's just focused on Jesus. Everything goes back to Jesus. And it's like, there's no like trying to create ministries or trying to do things, and just the ease of just resting in him. It's just completely different. It's a whole different kind of gospel, a whole different type of mindset to what you normally taught in churches, because you're taught like you got to become this fivefold minister, or you got to try and find this gift, and you got to try and perform, and you got to all outperform each other. And there's none of that. And it's nice to see here as well that it's just all about Jesus, it's all about him, and that's just so beautiful, and about love. So I just thought of that now, how different this message is. Actually, it's completely different to the message that many of us have heard for all our lives. I mean, you're talking about religion earlier, but it's so different and so beautiful. So
good word, Adrian. Thank you. And beautiful Christy?
I was really, what's the word, really encouraged just seeing how the theme has been going throughout what we've been reading. Last week, we talked about the stones. Now, Jesus was saying to the Pharisees, if these people are quiet, these very stones will cry out and worship God. And we sort of brought that back last week to the stones by the River Jordan that were a memorial for a witness for Israel crossing the Jordan. And now this is a very stone that the masons discarded. It's become the chief cornerstone. It is in fact the most important stone in which the entire structure is defined. And it's almost like God is showing us that the most inanimate object has got more life, probably has more life in it than the Pharisees with their religious mindset. But I just love the way how it's then, as we're going on to verse 18, that the others have talked about, it's just like the very essence of who God is, and the truth is going to crush all of the religiosity, and it's going to bring that to nothing. And I was in the same group with Tim and Jesse and Miranda and Shakira, not Miranda, Shakira and Deborah. And Tim mentioned also that in the book of Revelations, it talks about the white stone that Jesus gives us that no one knows. So there's so much more to these tiny little, what people would think are insignificant references to stones, to inanimate objects, what we call inanimate objects. And yet, yeah, there's just so much more. And it really blessed my heart to see this theme sort of continue.
Excellent.
Excellent.
That was great, Christy. Anybody else want to share? Oh, we're getting to hear from Keisha from Barbados. Now we don't have anybody from Belize in our group anymore.
Yeah, I actually just wanted to say thank you to everyone for remembering me and my family during this time of transition. It's beautiful to see. It really is a joy. We were talking in our group, and one of the things that I was saying was that when you are in the legalistic space, I think someone mentioned it earlier, the conversation is about how to be guarded and how to be skeptical and how to look at things through the I am not lens. And so celebration is not particularly a part of the experience, or being celebrated with is not necessarily a part of the experience, because there's so much suspicion, like the way how the Pharisees behaved, as we know. And I'm so happy to see that when the good news is truly the good news in our lives, the experience is not just different in a better way individually, it's also different in a better way as a community, right? So whether you're actually in the seat yourself or itself, or whether you are the one looking on, the experience is still heartening because of the good news actually being made manifest as a true reality. So it would be remiss of me to not say thank you guys. Thank you so much for being our family, right? And for being that safe place where you prayed, you thought, you just had a conversation with Abba. Because every bump along the way did not turn into a bruise, simply because of Abba's work and his agencies and everyone else here. So yeah, thank you.
We love you, and we're so proud of you. It's amazing.
Don't blow anything up.
Oh, we're gonna blow some stuff up. You see that I am not tree? It's about to be blown up.
That's right.
There's stuff that needs to be blown up, but it's gonna be blown up in a good way. Yeah.
Would anybody else like to share before we call it a night and back and get a beauty sleep? He does have an exam tomorrow. 'Cause when you're a doctor, your tests never end.
Never end.
Got to tell him when he first became a doctor. Well, we love you guys.
That was
Let me
great.
that was great. Great. Wait, stop recording.